everyone, and welcome to another episode of Canvas Conversations. And let me start with a little story from the hiring world. So, there was this young graduate from a top business school, and she walks into her first job interview. Her grades were excellent, her resume was impressive, and her confidence was also touching the roof. So, on papers, she was the perfect candidate any recruiter would love to hire. But here's the twist. Right after answering her first interview question, something unexpected happened. The interview ended right there. No second chance, no follow up questions, just done. And now I'm sure you're wondering that what could possibly have gone so wrong in just one question? In order to help us decode this question, I have with me today someone who's known for his sharp interviewing instincts and solid talent judgment. He has spent over 16 years mastering the art of spotting not just talent, but the right mindset. His business leaders often say, if someone makes it through Salman's interview, they are definitely the real deal. So, welcome, Salman. Welcome to Canvas Conversations. But before we dive deeper, I have to start with this. That young graduate I just mentioned, you were the interviewer, right? So, I really want to know what exactly happened that made you end the interview so quickly.
Hello, Rowena. Thank you very much for having me for this Canvas conversation. And the topic you chose is really close to my heart. And the incident you mentioned earlier, that reminded me a time when I was hiring for the very basic entry level position. So I always ask one typical question to every fresh graduate, that why they choose their university for their graduation. So I asked the same question to that candidate, and she gave me the reason because of its ranking,
Oh,
and she didn't consider other universities providing quality education in the society. So her reason could be, for me, her reason could be the faculty of that particular program or the curriculum that was taught in that university. So her reason raised a red flag to me about her attitude. And attitude is something that cannot be taught. But if someone doesn't have a particular skill set, then we can always train them for that. So I immediately stopped the interview and didn't go into more detail.
yes, thank you, Salman, for sharing your experience and sharing the reason why you had to end the interview in such a short time. And actually, it makes sense, after I heard from you. I like how you put it, that skills can be taught, but attitude is non negotiable. And, I think this is such an important reminder for all job seekers everywhere because, too often we focus only on degrees, certifications, or for that matter, how perfectly our resume looks. But we tend to forget that how much our attitude and energy and mindset actually shape the impression we leave, during the interview. So that brings us to today's topic, which is the interview illusion. Why the best talker gets the job. So, Salman, I mean, you've met and interviewed so many people over the years. So, I'm curious to know what's been the most enjoyable part of that experience, for you, and what's been the toughest challenge that comes with it.
Uh, Rina, the most important thing that I always enjoy in talent acquisition facet of HR, that is, it always establish one particular ability in HR professional that directly shape the future of an organization by bringing in the right people. So every successful hire give us the feel of satisfaction and feel like an investment that not only deliver results but also strengthen the culture of the organization.
True.
There's one another thing that I also enjoy, that is the human side of it. Meeting people, know their stories, understanding their motivation, and helping them to find out that particular role they are looking for, in which they can always grow themselves and achieve success.
Mhm, mhm.
So, and the another question that you asked me, that the toughest challenge I always face So that is balancing the speed with quality, because in today's fast-paced business environment, management always expect you to fill positions really quickly. So there always a pressure on us to fill positions, but I believe that rushing the process can compromise the quality of hires. So finding that particular balance, ensuring you know both the organization needs and the candidate's fit, has been the most demanding. But again, it is also a rewarding one, in particular journey of any HR professional.
Yeah, I know. I love that perspective, Salman, especially how you see the interviews as a way to understand people and businesses, And what you said about the time pressure really hits home because, you only get few minutes to decide if someone's the right fit or not. So that makes me think, of the saying we all know that first impression is the last impression. So on that note, I would like to understand from you, do you think that this expression still holds true today when you have so much of dependency on gauging somebody's profile in just 30 to 40 minutes interview?
It's yes, Rowena, it's quite tough to gauge any candidate within 30 to 40 minutes span of time. So for me, it's impression management for both the interviewer and the candidate. So yes, first impression is important, and it matters right from receiving a call from a recruiter by the candidate, where you only have to create a magic with your communication. Um, you should reflect your passion about joining the company with your tonality, because you don't have that liberty to show your facial expressions. So on second stage, when you get the opportunity to appear in face-to-face interview, then your impression will be gauged by your attire, your body language, and even with your sitting posture.
Right. I completely agree that communication and confidence really do make a huge difference. And, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. And that is why we say the first impression is the last impression. So, out of your experience, Salman, I mean, I really want to understand from you what are the parameters that basically, help you to pick up somebody, from the pool of candidates who have a similar kind of talent, qualifications, and experiences. So when you are meeting people face to face, how easy or difficult is it for you, to gauge the person's potential to be the right hire for you?
So Rahina, most of the time you are equally good when it comes to skill set and having a relevant experience,
Mhm,
but few of them only stand out
mhm,
in that panel. So there was a time when I had to fill one technical skill based job in our facilities management department.
mhm,
There were again a number of qualified candidates, but one candidate appeared well groomed with a lot of confidence. His attire was really amazing. So he showed actually a great interest by asking relevant question about the company. In fact, he was really concerned about his career growth
oh,
as well. So that helped him to demonstrate his passion to grow in our organization.
mhm,
So the whole panel collectively selected that candidate. So it is not important to have relevant experience, but someone should be well prepared during the interview,
mhm,
uh, where he will align his career aspiration with the organization growth.
mhm, mhm. No, that's such an excellent example, Salman, because it's showing us that for example, you as a job seeker, you may have competitors sitting next to you who have exactly the same qualifications, or for that matter, might have better skills than you. But how you present yourself and how you communicate and make an impression during the interview, actually helps you to succeed. I'm sure that listeners or the job seekers who are with us right now, they must be thinking and the same thing, how through your communication you can be different from rest of your competitors having the same qualification and skills. So I want to understand your perspective, Salman, like in this whole process when you are interviewing different candidates, who's responsible, who should be the who should be the one steering the flow of this discussion? Is it the interviewer trying to pull out the best from the candidate, or do you think that it's the candidate's responsibility to take the lead in how they present themselves?
Rina, you have brought the key question on the table. While interviewers come prepared with the questions based on the role and the candidate profile, but it often the candidate who can really steer the conversation in a meaningful direction.
Mhm,
So a strong candidate knows exactly how to highlight their unique strengths, what I call USP, and align those with the role they are applying for. So one powerful way to do that is by asking insightful questions about the organization or the role itself.
mhm,
So, for example, if a candidate identifies an area of improvement or area of opportunity the organization hasn't fully explored yet,
mhm,
and then share how they can, address those opportunities or those areas of improvement.
mhm,
So that immediately sets them apart. Let me share you one real example. So I was once interviewing someone for an engineering position. So there was a candidate whose approach made him stood among the other candidates.
mhm,
So during the interview, that candidate asked one question related to our building maintenance system that we used to have at that point in time. Uh, when one of the panel member let him know about the about our system, so
mhm,
the candidate immediately began comparing that system with the with a more cost effective alternative that was going on in the market.
mhm, mhm,
So he started outlining the pros and cons of both the systems.
mhm,
So it showed not only his technical expertise
mhm,
about that facet of the engineering, but also a proactive mindset and awareness about the industry trends. So that kind of input doesn't just answer our question,
mhm.
but actually it starts a conversation that created an impact.
Yes, Salman, that's such a good point. You have highlighted that it's not just about the interviewer doing their part, but it's basically the candidates who have to come prepared too. And on that note, I really want to know from you again, considering you have such a uh, good experience in interviewing so many diverse people, what are the common mistakes that you have observed, that candidates tend to make repeatedly, and that unfortunately, even if they are a good fit, they lose out.
Most of the time, candidates walk into the interviews without reviewing the job description or job specification,
Okay.
and in some cases, without even exploring the company's website. So I always, tell the candidates that they should review the job description first before coming into the interview.
True.
So this often create an impression of casual and non-serious approach towards the opportunity.
Hmm.
So to stand out, it is essential to first understand the role, research about the company, and gather basic insights that can add real value to your discussion with the interviewer. And this can be done very easily about going through the company's website,
True.
about having a good network, uh, you know, and so much so by only by going through the LinkedIn profile of different individuals who are currently working in that organization.
Exactly.
So doing so not only helps them respond more effectively, but also demonstrate their genuine interest in the position.
Correct.
So there is one particular example I can share with you,
Hmm.
that there was one position of mid-level marketing manager
Hmm.
in our organization.
Hmm.
So there was one profile who was very impressive uh, uh, when it comes to his experience, and he was having a great exposure from a multinational organization.
Hmm.
But during the interview, he struggled to effectively articulate his experience in relation to that role that we had at that time. So, if he had prepared himself better and familiarized himself with the company's context and the ongoing market trends that were going on in the industry, so he would have been able to translate his experience into more relevant and impactful manner.
Hmm.
So again, I always say that it is very important to to do research about the company, to research about the interviewers. In fact, with whom you are going to meet in your interview, that is very important.
Hmm. Yes, Salman, that's the truth actually. Making an impression during a job interview is really an art. It's an art that each career thriver, any professional who has to present himself or herself to their prospect employers must learn that. So, anybody whether you are a fresh graduate or somebody who's sitting at a leadership role, um, learning the art of communication and building that confidence is something that is something that really have to focus on. So Salman, I would want you to give some practical tips to the professionals out there who want to prepare better and make a strong impression during their job interview.
Ruhina, whether if someone is a fresh graduate or experienced professional,
Mhm.
so whenever anyone go to the interview, they get nervous. It's natural.
Yes.
So to overcome your nervousness and build confidence, you need to prepare and prepare well actually. And to prepare someone, they always can have mock interviews, analyze their answers whether that seems appropriate or not. So let me share one great technique. So that is a star technique. So the interviewer always use this star technique for their questions, but for to evaluate any candidate. But at the same time, that star technique, can be used by the interviewee as well.
Great.
So that star technique is situation, task, action, and results. So, for example, if some fresh graduates is going for an interview, so they can prepare themselves for their achievement they got during their studies. For example, if some interviewer asks them about a teamwork, okay, if they are a good team player or not, so they can always give that particular situation in which they had to take a part in any of the project. Then they can share the task which they were supposed to do in that particular project, the actions that they took for the completion of the task, and they should also share the results that were derived by their efforts, their actions, and their tasks. So similarly, case goes with the with the professional one. They know their stuff. They know they have good experience, so they can share their their past experience according to this STAR technique. So Rahina, the practical tips that I shared with your audience, so they don't have to work on them alone. So they can always approach and connect the career coach like you, because you can help them improve in these areas and help them improving the responses during the interview.
Yes, thank you so much, Salman. And I will take this opportunity to highlight, the importance of seeking help from a career coach or anybody else who could who can help them get prepared before they jump onto the field. Just like I would like to give an example over here, like just like a player never sets his foot on the pitch until he's ready. So likewise, a job seeker cannot afford to face the job interviews without knowing or learning how to handle the toughest and trickiest questions coming on to them. So when I'm speaking to people around, I mean, most of them have this mindset that they just need to be good or an expert in their technical skills. But as you have rightly pointed out, it's the presentation and the communication is equally important. So before we wrap up, Salman, I mean, if you would like to give one piece of advice to any job seeker listening today, about how to, become a star candidate and become an extraordinary candidate, from an ordinary job applicant.
So, Reena, we have already discussed so many things like building confidence, interpersonal skills, communication skills. So, the one another key tip I would like to share with your audience is that regardless you are from business, engineering, or any other field, you should learn how to sell and market yourself. So, you should learn how to make yourself a brand. And you can do it by improving your soft skills that we have already discussed, and create one unique selling point of your profile.
Salman, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing such valuable insights. I mean, you not only shared some interesting and relatable examples, but also spoke about practical tips that all career thrivers, can benefit from. And that's exactly what Canvas Conversations is all about. It's real stories, real lessons, and actionable tips that anybody can use to grow in their career. I would encourage everyone to connect with Salman on LinkedIn. I will leave the link in the description. And before we close today, I want to leave you with one question. What's that one thing you'd like to learn or get better at for your next job interview? Put in the comments, and I will personally share some exclusive tips with you on how to master your job interview. Thank you once again, Salman, and let's meet in our next Canvas conversations.
My pleasure, Reena. Thank you very much for having me.